Yuliia and welcome to Multicultural channel. Today I'm here with Dr. Barbara Borges and we're going to be talking about her experience of pursuing an academic career in Canada. Dr. Borges is a faculty member at the University of Manitoba and has a lot to share about her experience with those who would like to come and study in Canada. Hi Dr. Borges, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Gabby, and you can call me Barbara, thank you.
Okay, well, to start things off, I'd like for you to talk a bit about yourself, like your previous job and what year you moved here or how long you lived here.
Okay, so I used to work in a university in Brazil teaching older adults, and I was also doing my master's degree in education there. And in 2012, I got a Canadian scholarship to come to Canada and do part of my master's research in Canada. So that's how I moved to Canada for the first time.
Well, why did you decide to come to Canada of all places? Have you ever thought of anywhere else to go to?
Yeah, well, it wasn't in my plans to leave Brazil at all. And I was going through a divorce in Brazil, so I decided, I got this scholarship and I decided, well, it's a new beginning. I would just see what it is. It's only 6 months. And if anything, I will improve my English and I'll come back with a chance of a better career in Brazil. So that's why I decided to come to Canada. And on top of that, I got the Canadian scholarship that is called Emerging Leaders in the Americas program. So it's a scholarship that pays students, masters and PhD students. I think they have undergraduate students opportunities now. At that time, they gave me $10,000 to spend 6 months in Canada. So I decided I'd just take the opportunity and then I came.
Well, that's great. And how was your experience moving to Canada?
It was great, taking into consideration that I came with the Canadian scholarship. So it opened a lot of doors for me. I had a wonderful advisor. Her name is Dr. Kirsten Roger. And this really, really made a difference in my experience here. I lived in a homestay with a wonderful woman that is called Diane Gowerluck. So all of that was a very good experience for me that I said, well, I think I want to live more in Canada then.
Well, I mean, some people had struggles moving to Canada and they had struggles with their citizenship or housing and all that kind of stuff. What are the steps you had to take in order to become a citizen in Canada?
As I mentioned, I came for my master's and then I went back to finish my master's in Brazil. Dr. Roger then invited me to come back to Canada to pursue a full PhD here. So that's what I did. I came in 2013 to start my PhD in education, focusing in health promotion for older adults. So that's, I finished my degree. And then I thought, well, I got married in Canada. So I said, I want to stay here and build a life in Canada. My first step was to get a permanent residency. I had 2 ways that I could have this opportunity, that it would be through my degree or through my marriage. And because I was still a PhD student, I still had 2 years to complete my studies. So the lawyer that was advising us said, just go through your marriage. That would be the fastest route to go instead of waiting 2 years and then applying for Canadian permanent residency. So that's how I did. I got my Canadian permanent residency. And then I think that time you would have to be permanent resident for 3 years before applying for citizenship. So that's what I did. I waited for 3 years to apply for my Canadian citizenship then.
Oh, wow. And did you know you'd be pursuing a career before you moved here? Or was it spontaneous?
It was super spontaneous. And every opportunity that arose, I was in love with everything. So I started as grade marker at the university. As being a PhD student, you have many opportunities for working for the university. So being a grade marker, being a teacher assistant, and then research assistant, and then postdoctor in a Center on Aging, and then becoming a faculty member. It was always steps that were just happening, and I was ready to take the opportunities.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like everything was just like
meant to be.
Yeah, placed perfectly.
Of course, there were hurdles in the middle, and you just work through those.
Well, what were some things you didn't expect moving here?
Well, while living in Brazil, I never thought that it would be ever imaginable or possible to live in such a cold place like Winnipeg that sometimes is colder than Mars. So I thought that it would be impossible for the human being to live. And coming to Canada and seeing that life doesn't stop. You just work, even if it's minus 40, and you visit friends, you go to restaurants. That's something that I didn't expect and really amazed me here.
Well, I mean, we also have different kinds of technology here to keep things warm, which is like also some things that people don't really expect when moving here. They just expect it to be like really cold all the time. So.
Yeah. And another thing that I didn't expect, and I love it, it's people are so welcoming and friendly. And in Brazil, we are huggers, right? We say hi, we hug. And here, a lot of people around me, they are the same way. So I think it's embracing this multicultural piece is really amazes me.
That's so nice. Well, what was the biggest challenge moving here overall?
It was, other than the winter, leaving family behind is very difficult, family and close friends. And learning how to build your own family in a different country that are your friends. And so that was, I think, the biggest challenge. And trying to find yourself in places like the university, where I am a Brazilian coming, speaking a second language and trying to be a good professional. And this was difficult at the beginning too. Like being not so confident that I could do it.
I think moving's hard because it's like an opportunity that you want to take, but you always have to leave something behind.
Choices, right?
Choices. It's the choices you have to take to make this decision, and it's a whole process.
Yes.
You always want to take everything with you, but
unfortunately you can't. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your job?
Sure. So currently I'm working as the coordinator for the population health course at the University of Manitoba. So this is one of the courses that is in the med school. So we prepare students that will be in the future physicians in Manitoba, focusing more on the health equity and looking at how they can be advocate for better health for everybody. So that's what the population health course does. So I'm the coordinator for this course. And I'm also an instructor. I teach some courses in the community health sciences department, courses related to aging, a lot of courses related to aging. That is my background. And I also teach, in the past I taught health promotion, I taught family diversity. So I have like different roles at the University of Manitoba.
Wow, that's really cool. So you've done like a lot so far in your past years here in Canada.
Yes. And I've been in this role since 2021. So I started during pandemic. Before that, I was a postdoctoral doing research and working with the Center on Aging at the Riverview Health Center. So it's always something related to health and seniors.
That's really interesting. And do you have any future goals for your career? Do you want to become anything more?
I would like to, in my career, I have the opportunity to grow in my career. So being steps that you can have promotions. So that's what I love working for the university. I love working for the department. The community health sciences department is moving to is having a big step, becoming a college now, College of Community and Global Health. So I wanted to continue working with them.
And for our audience who would like to pursue graduate studies over here, what advice would you give them?
That's a good question, Gabby. I would say that if they want to plan to pursue a master's degree or a PhD degree here in Canada, the first thing I would do is to try to find their passion, what they want to study, because it takes time. And if you don't do something that you like, that will be difficult. And then look online to see what faculty would be receiving them. In my case, was Faculty of Education and Community Health Sciences. And then look for a researcher, professor in the area that you would like to pursue your studies, and start building connections, saying that you are interested in pursuing this career, that you have interest in this type of topic, and then exchange emails, because that person will be able to write you a letter saying that I would like to receive this student. to work under my supervision here in Canada. So this will open channels for you. So that would be my advice, to be ready to look for information online and start building connections.
I'm sure it takes a lot of dedication to do all of that.
Yeah.
So you really have to look over like the steps and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Did you have to go through those steps to come here? Like.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I got this scholarship to come 6 months. So I wasn't doing my full graduate studies at the beginning here. And then I met my advisor and we worked together. So we found a common interest. Then she was able to write the letters for me. So it was a little bit different than coming from outside of the country because I was in person here. But that's the same way, like finding someone to receive you and having the same common interest in a research area.
And would you say that you were pretty lucky in your situation?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, do you think it would be considered, like, everyone else's experience, for example, coming here?
I wouldn't say it's everyone else's experience. So that's from the other ones that I know that I've been helping coming to Canada, because I usually, the international students that I know, they can live in my basement for some time. So I see the same pattern. They contact me and then I show them the faculty that could be possibly a fit for them, and they start building this connection in Brazil before coming to Canada. So that's how it worked for other people as well.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I love receiving international students. I think it's amazing. I love showing Winnipeg to them, and I love doing this hosting part.
Well, how many international students have you had so far?
I've had around 5 international students, counting 2 Mexican students, and then the majority are Brazilians, yeah.
Right.
And I still have connections with them, which I love, yeah.
And they had any struggles themselves coming here, or like?
I think the biggest struggle that one of the Mexicans had before we met is they moved to Canada and they tried to find living arrangements by themselves, and then they end up living in a very not so good area of Winnipeg, very dangerous for them to be like 2 girls living by themselves in an apartment. So that's when we met, and then one moved to my previous host, which I call host mother until nowadays, and then the other one moved to live with me. So that's I think the biggest challenge that they face. It's not being able to connect with someone in Canada to understand the living arrangements before coming here.
And from the time you moved here to now, do you know if anything changed in terms of the process to become as a student and pursue an academic career?
That's a very good question, Gabi. I don't know if it changed. I know in my time, I had so many opportunities, but I could only work 20 hours a week, even inside the university. And I know this has changed. Now international students can work 40 hours a week inside the university. They say on campus. Off campus is only 20 during academic year. So this was a big change that happened from my time to this time that gives us the opportunity to get the experience and money to survive here. So I think that's the biggest change. And I don't know if they are being a little bit more specific with the type of careers that they want here. So I wouldn't know exactly what has changed other than this, being able to work more on campus.
Why do you think they have these rules?
That's a very good question, Gabi. I have no idea why they would have these rules. I really don't know.
I mean, like, to have a specific amount of hours to work, or where specifically to work?
Well, at the beginning, because if you're coming as an international student, you are expected to get your degree. And people, I think before my time, they were coming and working instead of studying. So that was a problem, I think, at that time. So giving students the opportunity that they have to be registered at the university, pursuing a degree and working at the same time will ease the burden of being worried about money. That's one of the options. And another difference that it happened in the past, when I was an international student, I had the Manitoba Health covered, and now students have to pay for an insurance. So that was a difference as well from my time in 2012, I was international student from 2012 to 2018. So those are the big differences that I see. But I see after graduating from the experiences around me, they're still able to stay pursuing the postgraduate work permit and then becoming Canadian residents and then getting the citizenship after. So I don't see that many changes.
Is there a difference between having an academic career in Brazil than in Canada? Or do you think it's much more the same?
I never had academic career in Brazil, so I don't know from experience if it's different, but I think it looks like much the same, the university here and the public universities in Brazil. I think it's the same path about promotion and having a research stream. I see it's the same way.
And do you think that most people in Brazil are looking for the same opportunity to try and come to a university like out of Brazil, or is it more common to just like, was it just something very specific to you that you wanted yourself, like you had the idea of your own to come here?
I think people would like to have the opportunity. I don't think moving completely, but taking the opportunity to get some courses here, improve their language skills. I think there are people that would like to do this international experience, and there is a lot of internationalization. I have difficulty saying this word, and where universities are making agreements where students from Brazil can come here and students from here can go there. So I think this is increasing more and more. Will bring the globalization closer to us, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Maybe with like these people coming back and forth, we can all like become one kind of like people.
Learning from each other, yeah.
Yeah. And for those who want to come and pursue an academic career, what advice would you give them in terms of moving here and starting a new life?
I would say be very humble and understand that come here with open mind and trying to learn a new culture, try to learn the way of living in the new country, and also take every opportunity that this will bring to your life. So starting as grade marker, starting as working in a coffee shop, starting everything that you can do to gain the experience and knowledge and skills. So that's would be my advice. Be very open-minded for the new culture that you encounter here. Be welcoming to this new culture.
I'd also like to mention myself, not because I have the experience, but I think that if people would like to move here, they also have to think really well about the choices that they're making, because a lot of people think that it's going to be an amazing experience, which it could be, but sometimes people aren't able to handle that because they're too far from home and their families. It's a lot you have to think over, because though you get the opportunity, you also have to think about the pros and cons and the outcome of it all, of why you're doing it, how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, if you're going to have the people, like, because I mean, you can meet people on the way, but you can get kind of lonely because you don't have family nearby and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, at least knowing someone else in the other place you're visiting, it's always nice because at least you have a familiar face. And later on, it does get better. I think that as you get used to the country, you realize how nice it is and how comfortable like living is. But it takes a while because it's not going to just be magical as soon as you come here. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it and be like, oh no, this is like a beautiful experience. I mean, like, some people have that chance of having a beautiful experience when it comes to traveling and studying here, but sometimes people don't have what it takes to live here. So you have to really think about your decision before taking this huge step and coming to another country.
Exactly. Well said, Gabby.
Well, thank you for coming here today. It was really nice having you.
Thank you, Gabby. It was a great opportunity talking to you.
Thank you for watching your Multicultural channel. Stay tuned and follow us for more videos.